In a quiet town near the green hills of Vermont, lived Mrs. Eleanor May. Her cottage stood beside a slow river that sang softly. The house was small, wooden, and warm with memories. A white porch wrapped around it like gentle arms. Behind the house grew apple trees and wildflowers. A simple fence creaked kindly when the wind passed. Eleanor lived alone after her husband passed years ago. They never had children, but love still filled her days. She shared her home with one small hen named Daisy. Daisy had soft brown feathers and bright, curious eyes. A tiny red comb rested proudly on her head. Daisy followed Eleanor everywhere around the yard. She clucked softly, as if joining in on every thought. People in town would smile, seeing them walk together slowly. Eleanor leaned on her cane with steady patience, and Daisy waddled beside her like a faithful friend. Each morning, as the sun painted the sky gold and pink, Daisy laid one warm egg without fail. Eleanor would lift it gently with grateful hands. She'd whisper softly, "One is plenty, my dear." Eleanor cooked half for her breakfast with warm toast and saved the other half for dinner. Nothing was ever wasted inside that little home. She grew tomatoes, beans, and squash in her garden. She lived simply, but her heart felt full. Then one quiet morning, something unexpected happened. Daisy laid 2 eggs instead of 1. Eleanor paused and smiled in surprise. "Well now," she whispered, "that's generous." She cooked 1 egg and packed the other one carefully. She walked to the small farmer's market downtown and sold the egg for a little bread and honey. The next morning, Daisy laid 2 eggs again. And the morning after that, the same. Soon, neighbors began to notice the pattern. "You should sell both eggs," one man said. "Buy more hens," another neighbor suggested. "You could grow rich," someone else insisted. Eleanor only smiled with calm eyes. "One for me, one to share," she replied. "That is enough for a good life." She gave eggs to a tired mother nearby. She left eggs for children after school. Sometimes eggs appeared quietly on doorsteps. The town began calling her Egg Lady May. Then one spring, heavy rains came suddenly. The river swelled and flooded nearby farms. Jobs were lost and store shelves grew empty. Fear settled quietly into many homes. But Daisy kept laying 2 eggs every single morning. Eleanor began boiling and pickling the eggs. She stored them carefully in glass jars. Each evening, she would walk through the town and hand food to anyone who needed it. No names were asked. No thanks were expected. One stormy afternoon, neighbors gathered on her porch. "Why didn't you save more money?" they asked gently. "Why didn't you take more when you could?" Eleanor looked at them with kind, steady eyes. She rested her hand on Daisy's back. "Because happiness isn't found by holding tighter," she said. "It grows when we share before we are forced to." "I kept what I needed," Eleanor continued softly. "The rest was never truly mine." Daisy clucked quietly in agreement. The rain slowed and the clouds began to part. Sunlight touched the wet ground gently. The town slowly healed, together. People remembered Eleanor's quiet wisdom. True wealth is not counted in money alone. It is felt in kindness that is given freely. When we lift others, we also lift ourselves. And in sharing just enough, we often discover that we already have plenty. Thanks for listening. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more.